Welcome to Running Hot, Action Network's motorsports betting podcast. I'm your host, Nick Giffen, predictive analyst here at Action Network. And joining me, as always, my co-host, Stephen Young of Roto Grinders, better known as Stevie TPFL. And this week, we're previewing the Mobile One 301 at New Hampshire Motor Speedway here on Running Hot. Last weekend at Bristol, Christopher Bell stole the show, stole the win with a late stop under yellow for tires, which did end up becoming a major factor. Didn't look like it after practice, but with the cooler weather at night, all of a sudden, those tires are getting torn up after 30, 40, 50, 60 laps, and a late caution. Some drivers pitted. Christopher Bell was the one of the drivers that pitted that got out front and took the win ahead of Brad Keselowski, who gave him a shot going into the last turn, and Zane Smith, who picked up his second ever top three finish. So, Stevie, thoughts on Bristol and the tires?
Well, I mean, we can't really complain because we've been asking for it. I don't know if we were asking for it to be that drastic, but we've been asking for a soft tire. Yeah, I mean, I was a fan. The only thing I'm not a fan of is like the fires that it was like creating, but I don't know how to like fix that. Like, we are asking for a softer tire. It's a concrete track. There's going to be a lot of like rubber around areas that are hot. So, I mean, science, right? So, outside of that, like, I thought the racing was great after like the first 25 laps. Like, the first 25 laps of the race was like, okay. And like, we saw drivers adjust, and we saw like guys that we expect to save tires. And like, I want Bristol to be fun. And I think that Bristol was fun last weekend.
Yeah.
Bankroll wise, I mean, it was okay. After practice, we're like, all right, well, let's just build normal Bristol lineups. And then, of course, like, here we go. Saturday night, it's, 8 degrees cooler, and the track is like 6 degrees cooler, and it's just enough to like make crazy tire wear. I don't know. It's tough because it is a playoff cutoff race, and practice was different than qualifying. So I don't know, or practice and qualifying was different than the race. So I don't know how to fix any of that. But I thought the racing after the first 25, 30 laps, like, we saw guys managing stuff. We saw guys that were fast be fast. And, I think that I don't think Bell was a crazy win, but I mean, can we just go back to where is Kyle Larson in the playoffs? I mean,
all of Hendrick Motorsports, really. I was looking at their results. They only had 2 top 10s in the first round. So between 4 cars, 3 races, only 2 top 10s, 1 for Bowman, 1 for Chase Elliott. But my thoughts on Bristol, we do want tire wear. I'm just not a fan of 60 laps at Bristol's barely 30 miles. I mean, can you imagine if we had tires that lasted just 20 laps at a 1.5 mile track? And it's not wear, it's like they're shredding apart and they're throwing debris all over the track, and then the cautions take forever because they come out and sweep up the whole track and add 5 extra laps of caution. I wasn't a fan of how, like, the racing was exciting, but I wasn't a fan of how it's exciting. Like, it's almost like manufactured excitement rather than natural excitement. But for me, bankroll wise, I had a monster day, absolutely monster day. I hit host of our top Chevy 22-1. I hit Zane Smith top 10, 18-1. Should have bet apparently his top 5 and his top 3, but I'm really annoyed
right.
that Ty Gibbs didn't get top Toyota because he was the best Toyota all day. And he just kind of
all day long.
He got screwed coming to pit road, and then the final yellow. I had a Hocevar top Chevy, Gibbs top Toyota parlay that was 104-1 that absolutely should have hit. But yes. I mean, still a monster day. I think I had like plus 11.7 units. So super stoked. Great result for me for the bankroll. But we got to talk playoffs, of course. It is now round 2 of the playoffs. We're down to 12 drivers. We did lose in the last round. Alex Bowman, Austin Dillon, Shane Van Gisbergen, and Josh Berry. And man, what a brutal run for Josh Berry, finishing dead last in all 3 playoff races so far. But Stevie, we do have 12 drivers still alive in the playoffs. Denny Hamlin tops them all. Kyle Larson, William Byron, Christopher Bell. Then Blaney, Briscoe are the top half. The bottom half is Chase Elliott, Bubba Wallace, Austin Cindric, Ross Chastain, Joey Logano, and Tyler Reddick. So a theoretical bubble right now, even though we haven't raced, would be Bubba Wallace 1 point ahead of Austin Cindric.
Yeah, I think that like you said, Barry, rough go. Joey Logano did exactly what he needed to in the Bristol race. He wasn't good, but did what he needed to do. And then like Alex Bowman, like we said, like where is Hendrick Motorsports? Like it's really weird because like we're so used to, you and I have been NASCAR fans for a very long time. We're so used to, hey, it's playoff time. Here's the instant speed from Hendrick Motorsports, and we just haven't had that. It's been really interesting and really weird, but I think that, I mean, right now, I think it goes back to JGR versus Ryan Blaney. I mean, Chase Briscoe's running so well right now. Bell looks great. Hamlin looks great. Bubba Wallace looks great. Ryan Blaney looks great. Austin Cindric is running well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, so I look at it and I'm like, is it Penske versus Toyota? Because where are the Chevys? I mean, like, we just went to a place where Kyle Larson has been incredible his whole career, and I know he'd had some stuff, but like just nothing. No passing speed, nothing. And it was just
even after very practice. Yeah, even after practice, he was just, my car isn't good. I mean, he just straight up said, like, we're not that good. So yeah, they struggled all weekend long. And depending on your sports book, like I have FanDuel open right now. Kyle Larson's the favorite to win the championship at plus 450, along with Ryan Blaney. Like right now, the way they're running, he shouldn't be. And the way they're running, William Byron shouldn't be the fifth most favorite. Like I would put Chase Briscoe ahead of William Byron right now, especially with how good Briscoe is at Phoenix. So that's kind of opening the door a little bit on some value. Maybe if it's, we already talked about him on the podcast, but Christopher Bell for me to win the championship. Bubba Wallace is 18-1. All he has to do is get to the Final Four and then be the best of them at Phoenix. And he can absolutely do that the way he's run at some of these short flats. You know, Danny Hamlin 5-1. I mean, if you could just take Toyota to win the championship and Blaney to win the championship, it feels like you'd almost just profit, right?
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I think it's just a really Toyota and Blaney heavy look right now in the championship, and Hendrick Motorsports has a lot of catching up to do, a lot to kind of turn things around here. And you said it, like we're used to, okay, playoff time, they turn up the speed, because very often Hendrick Motorsports has what we call that summer slump, and they just kind of haven't turned it up at all. So it's very, very strange. But Stevie, let's make our picks to get eliminated. We had, I think, identical picks we
were one off.
We were both, I think we had the exact same picks, and we were one off with Joey Logano versus Josh Berry or Bowman. I think we might have, one of us might have had Berry, one of us might have had Bowman or something, but we both were 3 for 4. Let's make our picks to get to the round of 8. So just pick 4 drivers to get eliminated. Who you got?
Yeah, I think this is a lot tougher than the last stage. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you look at the races that are coming up, I think Bell is the favorite to get through. I think he's the favorite at New Hampshire. He might be the favorite at Kansas, and he's the favorite not named SVG at Charlotte. So I think Bell, you know, you gave it out on the podcast, I think 2 weeks ago after the first race of the playoffs, where you got me on Bell. So I feel really good about that championship bet. But I mean, my 4 to get eliminated when looking at New Hampshire, Kansas, and Charlotte is tough, because I think it's Joey Logano. Like, I think that I just got to put Logano there. He just doesn't have the speed as everybody else. Going to kind of throw a curveball at everybody here and say Chase Elliott is going to get eliminated, Mr. Consistency. I know it's the Roval. I know he could run well there potentially, but his speed is just lackluster right now. So I have those 2. I'm going to go Ross Chastain, and I don't know. This is the last one. Like the 3 I feel okay about, but the last one is tough. I mean, where everybody is at right now, I think it's Austin Cindric, but I would not be shocked if Austin Cindric continues to run well and get through. And like, if William Byron and Kyle Larson didn't have such a point buffer, I would say either one of them. But I don't know. I think that 2311 is just so good at Kansas, and Toyota is so good at New Hampshire, and both Tyler Reddick and Bubba have gotten. I mean, Tyler Reddick on road course is so good, and Bubba has improved so much. So I guess I'll go with those four. Give me Logano, Cindric, Chase, and well, that's a Chastain, right?
Yeah, Chastain.
Yeah. So those four.
So Stevie has Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, Austin Cindric, and Ross Chastain getting eliminated. I have Joey Logano. I have I'm right there with you on Chase Elliott in terms of possibly getting eliminated, but I just think he squeaks through. He was really good at Gateway.
His consistency.
He was the He was the only one at Gateway, or I should say, of the Hendrick cars who had top 10 speed. I think at any of the 3 playoff races, and that was at Gateway. He was a top 5 car for sure. And we're coming to New Hampshire. He's had some second place results here in the past couple years, so I think he gets through. So I'm going to say Joey Logano, Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, and I'm going to eliminate Tyler Reddick. For me, I actually disagree a little bit on 2311 being good at Kansas. They have not been good the last 2 years. They used to be the dominant team at Kansas.
That's true.
2022, 2023, tons of wins at Kansas, tons of top results. Tyler Reddick at Kansas in the last 2 years, 20th, 25th, and 17th. That's not going to cut it. He's lost it a little bit on the road courses. Like, he's not a top 5 driver anymore on the road courses. He's more like a back half of the top 10. So there's going to have to be some stage point shenanigans, which always gets weird. And New Hampshire's just kind of meh for him. He's back half of the top 10 car at New Hampshire as well. So I'm going to just take the current bottom 4 and eliminate them. Our current top 8 I have going through, and our current bottom 4 that are outside the cut line I have getting eliminated. So that's our playoff talk. Now let's talk New Hampshire. New Hampshire, a 1 mile true oval, so 180-degree turns on either side. It does technically have variable banking, but the banking is very, very light at New Hampshire. The variable banking goes from 2 degrees to 7 degrees. So, not exactly a steeply banked track or anything. It is a very flat but variable banked track. I actually like the racing at New Hampshire. I actually think the variable banking helps it. Gives it a couple different grooves you can race at New Hampshire. So I like racing at New Hampshire. What about you, Stevie?
Yeah, always been a fan of New Hampshire. The weather is always very interesting. It changes the race weekend every single time that we're there. What's interesting to me about New Hampshire in general is the cars that have dominated New Hampshire over the years are not, the drivers are not necessarily around anymore. We every time we went to New Hampshire, we were like, all right, Martin Truex Jr., Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, and Kyle Busch, don't get me wrong, he's still around, but it's not Kyle Busch.
Right.
It's not Rowdy Busch. I guess we'll call him Kyle Busch because it's not Rowdy Busch anymore. So
yeah, I think that's BK is not the Penske BK because he had several New Hampshire wins.
Kenseth,
Joey Logano still can get it done there, but I remember just past Joey Logano certainly felt like he was always one at New Hampshire as well.
So yeah, I mean, it's just heading into the weekend, processing that and thinking about that is always interesting. But I mean, again, you just look at the results here, and Toyota has just absolutely dominated this place. So yeah, I mean, racing at New Hampshire is interesting. I like it. I'm with you. It's one of my favorite. We call it a shorter, flatter track, but the banking is where they classify it. It's not necessarily in its own classification, but we have a really good schedule in NASCAR right now because where we're at, the types of tracks, there's just so many different types. But I've always been a fan of New Hampshire, but I will say, always check the weather, hot, cold. It is such an interesting time of year in that area. And
check the difference between practice and qualifying, because it could be different. It could be the same. And if it's going to be consistent from practice to from practice and qualifying to the race, if it's going to be consistent, then you can really rely on practice data. When we talk about those intangibles, Stevie, If there's going to be some weather changes, if we get a cloudy versus sunny or sunny versus cloudy or cool versus hot, rain, whatever, then it might be time to not use, obviously still use practice data, but not over rely on it for New Hampshire. Let's talk comp tracks real quick. For me, I think Phoenix being the other 1 mile, and then also Gateway. We just came off that. It's another one, 1.25 mile, flat banked, kind of has not exactly 180 on each side, but two different, almost 180 radius turns on each corner. So I think Phoenix and Gateway probably are the best comps for me. Maybe throw Iowa in there. What do you think?
Yeah, so if I had to rank my order of the 4 tracks that I would comp it to, so Phoenix, Iowa, Richmond, Gateway, that would be the 4. I'd rank it Phoenix, Gateway, Iowa, Richmond.
Same.
And the Richmond would go last for me just because of how much tire wear we are getting at Richmond now is just not the same as these other tracks anymore. Richmond has become kind of its own animal, and I love it. I love the fact that we're getting natural tire wear at Richmond now. But I think Phoenix is your best comp, which, I mean, teams definitely have Phoenix and Gateway circled when you're heading to New Hampshire because this is like the last real how are we going to run at Phoenix? Because, I mean, Martinsville is just not the same animal. So I think, I mean, realistically, whoever runs good at New Hampshire this weekend is who we're kind of looking to run well at Phoenix in a few weeks for the championship.
Absolutely. So any other final thoughts and tangibles on New Hampshire before we dive in the bets?
No, I mean, anything can happen in these playoff races, but I will say over the years, these races have been kind of crazy. Like, I think there's been at least 8 cautions in 5 of the last 6 races. So, like, we say anything can happen in these races, but, like, realistically, this is one of those tracks where anything can happen. We've seen winners come from the 20s recently with Eric Amarola
80 to 1
in 2021.
Yeah. 80 to 1 winner, and I had him. I still have the tweet saved. Like, I don't bookmark many tweets, but I bookmarked that one. I said it was the race before, had just finished, and I said it's Eric Almirola week, and then he goes out and wins 80 to 1.
Yeah, so I mean, like, yeah, yes, anything can happen here. I mean, that I know that's not really like necessarily like an intangible that is predictable, but like, yeah, again, like we've had 8 or more cautions here in 5 of the last 6 races. All 3 races with the next gen car have had at least 8 cautions, 14 cautions last season. It was wild.
Yeah, certainly weather had to do with that a little bit in the 2024 version. And that's one other intangible I wanted to mention was we did run, I think it was the final 80-something laps in the damp conditions from last year's race. So make of that what you will. Last year's results, a little tough to maybe use the final finishing order, but certainly I think, over the course of 300 plus laps, 220 of them almost were in the dry. So you can make good use of stats like average running position, stage 1, stage 2 results, etc. And then strategy just tends to kind of come into play at New Hampshire simply because, like you said, we get a bunch of cautions and different drivers, different teams will want track position or want certain fuel mileage things. So that can shake things up at New Hampshire more than we think as well. But it is time to get into the bets. As always, we're going to drive through the race stage by stage with our shorter odds pick in stage 1, then a longer odds pick in stage 2. Finally, we'll race through stage 3 and end up in victory lane with our combined favorite bets. We're going to throw the green flag on the mobile 1-301 and fire off for stage 1. All right, first bet, Stevie, you talked about them. You're going to a winning manufacturer. It's Toyota. What you got?
Yeah, I'm taking it. The next gen era at New Hampshire has just been absolutely dominated by Toyota. So I'm going to go winning manufacturer, Toyota plus 100. Typically, I don't like betting these when they're this low. I like getting them at like 140, 130, 160 range, but I just don't see it being better than this after practice and qualifying. How many Toyotas that we have in the playoff and they get to go last in qualifying, like, it's just you look at how good Chase Briscoe has been at qualifying. You look at how good Blaney or Bell and Hamlin have run here, how Bubba's running right now. I could see Toyota just absolutely dominating this race like we've seen. I mean, if you look at the speed rankings for the next gen era at New Hampshire, it's been absolutely dominated by Toyota outside of Ryan Blaney. So I think if you want to hedge, you bet Blaney outright, but where his odds are right now, it's really tough. So I'm just going to take Toyota to win and take, they're like 4 out of the top 6 at this rankings speed wise for me. And that's with Martin Truex Jr. And I'm just kind of placing Briscoe in that Martin Truex Jr. like area because I feel like Briscoe is firing on all cylinders right now. This team is firing on all cylinders right now, and this team has just been so incredibly good here. So, yeah, I'm going to go Toyota, winning manufacturer, plus 100. I would have waited, but I think they're going to qualify too good, and it might end up being like Toyota plus minus 120 by the end of the weekend.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I mean, obviously Christopher Bell is the race favorite. We're getting not quite there, but we're close to like SVG territory at road courses with Bell at New Hampshire. But he's 3.5 to 1. And then you add in Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe, who, I mean, just finished second to Denny Hamlin at Gateway. I think it was, they were 1-2 at Gateway. One of the most comparable tracks. It's getting to the point where, you know, Toyota could arguably be the 3 most favorite drivers. And, you know, obviously there's Ryan Blaney as well, but you could make a case that Bell, Denny, and Briscoe should be the 3 favorites. Now, again, I think you probably have to throw Blaney in there, but 3 of the 4 favorites, and you're getting them at even money. Yeah, I like that for sure. For my stage 1 pick, Stevie, happy 50th birthday, Jimmy Johnson, co-owner of Legacy Motor Club. I'm going to take your drivers, John Hunter Nemechek and Eric Jones, for top 10 finishes. 5.5 to 1 on John Hunter Nemechek is the longest I've seen. Eric Jones, 8.5 to 1. Look, John Hunter Nemechek, Stevie, he's been good. He's been really good this year. If we look, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 top 10 finishes this year. No, 8 top 10 finishes this year. And one of them just came at Gateway, one of the best comps that we have on the circuit. He had a top 10 in another big flat track at Pocono. Last year in the Rain, New Hampshire race, he finished 8th. So, you know, if I told you a driver just finished 6th and 8th at either this track or arguably the best comp track, and he's 5.5 to 1 for a top 10, plus he finished, 14th at Phoenix. I mean, 5.5 to 1, just too long for me on John Hunter Nemechek. Now, Eric Jones, he has not quite run as well as his teammate John Hunter Nemechek overall. He's behind him in the point standings, doesn't have as many top 10s. But New Hampshire's been a good track for Eric Jones. 11th and 13th and 11th in the last 3 years at New Hampshire, all in the next-gen car. The year before that, he finished 19th, but, that was the very first year of the next-gen car. They were running Chevys back then, was Petty GMS, which is now Legacy Motor Club. But you get the idea. If you got a driver who's finishing 11th, 13th, and 11th, and you can get him 8.5 to 1, kind of just have to take it. All he needs is one more position in 2 of those races, and he would have had top 10 finishes. So give me the Legacy boys for top 10 finishes.
So I have a random thought, and there's no evidence or anything behind this random thought. With Stuart Haas leaving Ford, I feel like Toyota is giving more resources to Legacy to make them happy right now because they need Legacy to stay in this camp. And we have seen, John Hunter Nemechek's crew chief is executing races better than most drivers in the playoffs right now. They are just calling races to perfection. And yeah, I mean, I'm game with this. As good as Toyota has been here, they can look at notes from years past with Toyota, and they don't have like that partnership with JGR as far as like all that stuff, but they all work together. Let's be honest. Toyota wants these guys to run well. And I just, again, there's no evidence behind what I was saying. It's just a random thought. I feel like there might be a little bit to Legacy recent speed. I mean, it's speed. It's not like, it's not fluky. You look at like green flag speed, you look at raw speed, like they're there. So I have no issues with this. Again, John Hunter's crew chief is just, he's executing races. Like his average, his expected finish is like way better than his actual, or like way worse than his like actual average finish. Like they're just executing on all cylinders right now.
Yeah, and to your point, Legacy Motor Club last year, John Hunter Nemechek 34th in the standings, Eric Jones 28th in the standings. Right now they sit 22nd and 23rd. So massive improvement from last year. And, you know, I think these guys are worth consideration for top 10 bets. So stage 1, Stevie has Toyota winning manufacturer, even money. I got the Legacy boys for top 10 finishes. That's some pretty nice odds, which, you know, since we always get longer in odds, my stage 2 pick is going to be even longer. So we're going to throw the green and white checkered on stage 1, come in for some tires and fuel. Before we fire off for stage 2, I want to let y'all know, of course, NFL season is underway, and to get the most out of the award-winning Action app, you'll want to be an Action Pro subscriber, because only Pro subscribers get real-time pick alerts from experts like Stuckey, Chris Raybon, Brandon Anderson, myself, and our entire Action Network team. Plus, you can get access to our Pro projections powered by Sean Kerner and our predictive analytics team. To celebrate football's return, we've got a special offer. Just go to actionnetwork.com/pro and get $20 off the annual price with the promo code POD20. So don't miss out on the best bets at the best prices. Visit actionnetwork.com/pro and use promo code POD20, that's POD20, to get $20 off a year of Action Pro. All right, stage 2, Stevie, let's fire off here. And you're going to not the whole Toyotas, but one of these Toyotas.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just really high on Toyota this weekend, and I'm going to go to Chase Briscoe for a top 5 at plus 130. I'm not even going to look at his stats for this racetrack. I don't care, because this is not the same Chase Briscoe that we have grown to know in the sport of NASCAR. Martin Truex Jr. absolutely dominated this place with the next gen car. Like, he averaged the most fastest laps by a large margin. I think like his laps led on average was like 140 or something over the 3 races here. Like, just dominated this place. And we're getting a guy that has just shown the ability to go out and put down a lap in qualifying. So I think he's going to have a really good starting spot. And just, again, like they're running so well. Like, I think you could make the argument right now that Chase Briscoe is the legit favorite to win the championship, where their current momentum is at speed-wise. The pit crew has been fantastic. Like, we're seeing tracks where like, oh, Chase is not that great here. And he just every week is just showing up. So I really like where this team is at. I really like where this organization is at. I don't necessarily think that he's going to be able to beat Bell, Blaney, and Hamlin, but I do think that he's going to be a top 5 running car with the potential to be up there at the end of this race. So I like his top 5 more than his outright at the current prices. So yeah, that's my stage 2 pick is Chase Briscoe, top 5 at plus 130.
Yeah, I mean, great track for him. Second last year. Of course, the rain. Those Stewart-Haas cars came to life in the rain. I thought that was pretty crazy last year. You know, Josh Berry finished 3rd. But still a good track for him, even in the non-rain races, 10th, 15th in the next gen era at New Hampshire as well in the non-rain races. And that was with the inferior Stewart-Haas Racing. Now he's with JGR, arguably the best team in the garage, if not the best team in the garage. So Chase Briscoe, top 5 finish for Stevie. For me, little funsy bet, another long shot top 10. We've talked about how New Hampshire can throw a little bit of chaos. Give me Todd Gilliland for a top 10, 11-1. He's not running well. Like, when we talk about those legacy boys and they're running well, Todd Gilliland is not running well. He has 2 finishes better than 22nd since the 13th race of the season. And now we're on the 30th race of the season. That's not good. They're not running well. But one of those was a 6th place finish at Indy, which, again, not comparable to New Hampshire, other than the fact that it's flat. You know, it is kind of interesting that we saw with one of those drivers, Eric Jones or John Hunter Nemechek, you know, Pocono, they get some finishes, and then they get finishes at New Hampshire. Indy, Todd Gilliland, 6th twice, and then also gets finishes at New Hampshire. He finished 12th at New Hampshire last year, and it wasn't just the rain. he led 19 laps in the dry. He started 16th. So it's a good track for him. And, they're not running well, the 34 team right now, but they ran so well last year at this track and this track type. And we can't fully dismiss Martinsville either. Todd Gilliland always runs well at Martinsville. He has 2 top 10s in his career, a top 10 earlier at Martinsville. And it has the same shape as New Hampshire. It's just half the size of it. So I think 11-1 is just long enough where I actually like betting it for value, even though it's more like funsy bet. But I do have a little bit of value. And if he's able to recapture that form from last year at New Hampshire, I threw a $5 on it, Stevie, 1,000-1 at Circa to win the race. I did.
All right. I hear you. Like Todd Gilliland, this is the type of racetrack that Todd Gilliland in his career has been good at. I understand the thought process. The current form is just, it's rough. So yeah, this, like, Zane is running so well, and like it has been, where is Todd Gilliland? I mean, we're used to like, hey, at least Todd, like even in the beginning of the year, we were like top 20, top 20, top 20, top 20, like, and it's just been like, where has he been at? So you're getting that in the price. What I will say is this is the type of track that in his career he's been very good at.
Yeah, absolutely. So, his best track type in his career, even going all the way back to K&N, he was a winner in K&N a lot, but he won at New Hampshire as well. So a little funsy bet, Todd Gilliland for a top 10 finish. I wouldn't bet his outright unless you're crazy like me and you want to throw just a couple bucks on it. You need at least 1,000-1 in my opinion. But Todd Gilliland top 10 finish, 11-1 is my stage 2 pick. So that'll do it for stage 2. We're going to drive through stage 3 and end up in victory lane with our favorite combined bet. And Stevie, we're going to another Toyota.
I mean, yeah, I threw this one at you, and you're like, "All right, I'm in." So, we're going for victory lane. We're going to Bubba Wallace top 10 plus 130. I mean, I have this as one of the better value bets with current form. I mean, this is a guy that just led 70 laps at Gateway, finished 8th in that race, and has been one of the better cars on short flats this season. So, I mean, when we're looking at the comps and we're looking at current form, like, Bubba is running great right now. I mean, yeah, we take what happened last week out, but I mean, this is a guy that ran really well at Darlington. He ran really well at Gateway. Last week was obviously a little different because of, all the stuff that happened. But if you look at this guy, he's just been consistently in the top 10 when he hasn't had issues. So you take out those races where he's had issues, he's been really like a top 7 car in speed over the last month and a half. So, yeah, I mean, I like Bubba on short flats. I always have, and I'm not going to stop betting this. And looking at the short flat data this year, he's 5th in speed in the 4 races that we've run. So that's value. Getting that, like, if you're telling me I'm getting the 5th place speed car at plus 130, I don't need to know a name. I'm going to bet that every single time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Plus 130 at Hard Rock. I think the best out there otherwise is around even money. But again, a top 5 car all year on the short flats at even money is probably still good enough. But I'm right there with you. Bubba Wallace I've said it multiple times in recent weeks, he's arguably a top 5 car overall right now, car and driver overall. Like you said, yeah, things happen at Bristol. He was still good at Bristol, but they kind of locked in after the first stage and didn't really need to do anything else. So, and Bristol's not a great comp, of course, for New Hampshire, but they've been running well everywhere. Bubba Wallace has been top 8 in speed pretty much every single race since Dover. That's just fantastic. This guy is a top 8 driver. He's top 5 in short flats, even money. Bubba Wallace, top 10 finish. You can even get it plus 130 if you have Hard Rock. So that'll do it for us. Thanks for listening to the Mobile 1301 episode of Running Hot, Action Network's Motorsports Betting Podcast. If you'd like to tail some of the bets we discussed today, look for the quick slip link in the podcast and video description. Go to actionnetwork.com/bet now. We'll be back next week to talk bets for the Hollywood Casino 400 at Kansas Speedway on behalf of my co-host, Stephen Young. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you back here next week on Running Hot from Action Network.